Welcome back everyone. In the last lesson, we looked at a basic 9x9 game example. In this lesson, we will look at a 9x9 game, but it is much more chaotic, more fighting, and I'll show you the exact ways to face a middle game and face an end game when the board gets a bit chaotic. So let's have black start up with 3-5. Let's have black start off with a middle point, the 10 game. White plays a 3-4, black jumps, and white plays the next corner. Now, black decides to not defend the corner over here, but attack this one white stone. Black goes over here, attacking this one white stone. White uses a jump, and in this position, black decides, okay, I will use this jump and defend this corner territory. White jumps as well, make a one space jump, building the corner territory and expanding from the stone. Black uses a nice move. White block. Black push up, trying to save this weakness. White now has a dilemma. White's both groups are alive, more or less alive, but white is in a weaker territorial position. So what should white do? Here is where tempo is very important. You need to take moves and play the endgame moves that gives you the tempo. You can win a tempo. What I mean by winning a tempo is you make a move, but if your opponent doesn't respond, your next counter attack, your next follow up is going to have consequences. I'll give you guys an example. White can play h5. If black doesn't respond to this move and black plays the next endgame move, the consequence is quite heavy. White can play g4, and this entire black's territory has been completely reduced. Which means black has to respond to this attachment. Black can respond with a bend, blocking white from entering black's territory. White can use this move, weakening this black stone. Black connects, or black and Atari first and then connect. Maybe connect here or connect over here. This one's maybe a bit more... Maybe connect over here is a bit more safer. White can now play the next set of forcing moves, or moves with tempo. Right now this is settled. This group is settled. We call it settled because white has a territory. Very nice territory. And here I see a lot of beginners making mistakes thinking, oh, I'll Atari this time. Black is going to connect. If black connects, then good. You got a tempo. But if you're playing stronger players, black is not going to connect to this stone. Black is not going to answer. But this move is way too small. See, this is on the first line, so on the edge of the board. Black is going to play the second line. So if you capture the stone on the first line and black enters your territory on the second line, black is going to do a lot more damage than your capture on the first line. So when this group is settled, you've played out the second line moves and you got tempo. Don't force every single Atari. Your opponent doesn't have to connect to Ataris. They can play elsewhere. Okay? So the best play in this position is to play the next endgame move, which is a Sente, or we win a tempo, which is d2. Yeah. d2 threatens to jump into black's territory. Black block. White can Hane and connect. Black plays Tiger's Mouth and save the corner territory. White can do this next set of tempo moves. White can play over here and connect, threatening this cut. But black has a very sneaky trick. Black plays this diagonal move. What do you do? Here you might have a dilemma. Do I capture here or do I just simply block? The way you should think about this is, if you capture here, whose consequence is heavier? Who goes through a bigger consequence? In this position, the answer is white. Because if white captures the stone, black jumps into white's territory. Not only does black take white's territory, black is also killing white as well. White doesn't have enough space to make two eyes. But you might think, okay, white, I can just Atari, and if black connects, I can connect over here. But here is another thing you need to consider. Whenever your opponent Atari, they don't have to connect. Whenever you Atari, your opponent doesn't have to connect. your opponent can just simply reverse Atari, give up these 2 stones, and connect over here, and completely capture these 5 white stones. And in this position, white will not have enough territory to even get close to winning this game. So in this position, it is very important that white actually defends this part first. Defending this territory is much more important. Black might follow up with a bend and connect. Now, which is more important? The answer is saving the corner. White saves the corner, black saves the corner. White can squeeze over here and threaten these 3 black stones. Black saves the weakness, and white can finish off the endgame. So in this position, where is the biggest endgame for white? Where are the shared places, and where are the places both players can fight for? The answer is d4. If black plays d4, black gets 1 point on e4. If white gets d4, white potentially gets a point on c4. So playing d4 is potentially 2 points. Let's say white plays d4. Black goes over here, and here you should not keep pushing. You gotta be careful of what your opponent is trying to do. When black plays a d3, squeezing over here, black is trying to cut a c2 and capture these 3 white stones. So white should connect or save this weakness. Black connects. White can save the point on c4. Black can save the point on f4, because if white plays f5, black loses the point on f4. White can Atari, black connects, and this game is over. Fill up the neutral points, and it is time for us to count this game. So when we go ahead and count this game, we will see white wins the game by 3.5 points. White wins the game by 3.5 points. Again, one very close game, very close call, and this is more of a fighting game. Both players get the groups cut apart, and both players have to make sure the stones are alive. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and you follow the principles from this game and the last example. So these 2 games shows you how to build territory, how to defend territory, and how to take tempo, win tempo in the endgame. That brings us to the end of these 2 game reviews, and in the next lesson, in the next video, I will show you guys a live example of me playing against a 10Q bot. See you in the next video. Bye bye.